oh yeah, I show up to work today and waiting for me is a brand new iPhone 6S and OtterBox case. So it's like Christmas in April.
Go for it. 2359.
We've been hearing about this for a while. Actually, the department has outfitted the entire patrol division with their own iPhones, and it's loaded apparently, and I've heard about it, I haven't gotten into it yet, with a bunch of like apps and different things specifically for our work. Like one of them is a phone number blocker. I guess you use this app and it actually comes up with a phone number when you call the person, but it's not the actual phone number for this phone. Which will make it a lot easier for when we contact people, because like if I use my personal phone, I star 67 it, block my phone number. But the problem with that is a lot of people don't answer those calls. They think it's a telemarketer or solicitor or whatever. And you know, we have to leave messages, then the people call us back, and then we have to check our voicemail. So we'll have that thing on here, so that'll be cool. That should make things a lot easier out on the road. And then I guess there's also an app on here where like these are linked to our email and to the city network, and so it'll allow us, like we can now use this like to take photographs at calls that we need, and documents. There's an app for like doing documents, and then we can upload it directly to our police report. So it sounds like some pretty cool stuff. So I'm gonna take a few minutes, get this thing unboxed, put it together, and see what it's all about. But one thing that our agency is known for and is really good is the technology aspect of it. They equip us with some really good equipment and spare no expense in it. So it's really cool. It makes our job a lot easier to do, and it makes us more productive, more efficient. We can get a lot more done. So I'll let you know how this thing works when I get using it. We were on our way to a call of a trespass, and all of a sudden something came in about a guy with a flamethrower and getting kind of crazy.
Thank you, Brian. Brian, honey, do you have anything on you that would hurt one of us? Nope. Okay, would you please turn towards that truck for me? Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Is this Glenn's house?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You don't have any. Okay, you don't have any needles
Yeah, I saw.
or anything like that, or anything crazy. Okay.
Brian, put your hands on top of your head for me. Interlock your fingers. Interlock your fingers on top of your head. On top of
Is there a hose we could just...
you got anything that's gonna poke me?
I douse that ourselves.
Yeah,
I get it.
got it.
You always got so much shit in your pockets, Brian. Why are you hot? Why are you storing all this stuff?
Grilled cheese with Glenn.
What?
Paint tanks over here.
There's what?
Yeah, back up here.
Not much.
There's propane tank right next to it.
Back up here.
How far does this go?
It should reach it.
All right.
Reach if I got to. Watch out, don't get on. Everybody.
If he can't get it out.
Yeah, we got it. It's out.
Okay. All right, spray everything.
Douse it all. Douse that tip first.
That could have gone bad real quick. 2 propane tanks there.
Grab the torch in the first place. Please do that.
For me? That was me.
I would say that's. Yes, I will.
So let's look into that aspect of it. We're gonna get you some help, Brian. All right, you're not in trouble. We haven't gotten to that point yet. I mean, they're not super happy that you were setting their house on fire, but are you good here if I go get the car? Yeah. I'm gonna leave this here because I don't really want to touch it.
I'll hang out here with him.
All right, guys. So here is the deal with this call. This guy, he's one of our regulars. We deal with him all the time. He's got some pretty severe mental health issues. Apparently, he had a flamethrower. It was shooting flame like 3 feet. He lit that stuff on fire next to that house, and if you saw, I don't know how well it's going to come out because it's dark, but there were propane tanks right there, so luckily we saw that. But this guy, we've had to Baker Act him several times. I mean, this time it It may or may not be criminal charges due to his stuff. He's fought us before. He is wild. I mean, crazy. Like, it's been an all-out battle with him in the past, so it's kind of one of those things where we don't really take any chances, unfortunately, because he will flip a switch in a heartbeat. So that's the deal. So we'll see how the rest of it goes. Usually he freaks out as soon as he gets in the car. You're a magnet for this guy, man. It's like the third time. Do this. Yeah, as soon as you can, try to find out. I know Bennett's talking to him, so maybe you can just relay with Bennett, because obviously this guy's got so many issues. Like
A Baker Act and Viper.
I don't know. I mean, so try and do, hey, and see what we can make of how he was doing the flames. Was it intentional, like in the sense of trying to hurt stuff, or just was he being a weirdo? Like, you all right? Okay. All right. Yeah, like I said, I don't think he's super mad, but he's not super happy either. There were 2 propane tanks over there. Did you know that? Yeah. You knew that? Well, why would you set stuff on fire next to propane tanks?
I work for a living.
Okay. Well, do you understand what I'm saying? You set a fire near 2 propane tanks that could have exploded. Yeah, most likely. Just for right now, because we have to ask all the questions, and the firemen have to look at everything. We just got to hang out for just a few minutes, all right? What's that? Yeah, well, we might have to take you to the hospital and get you a little bit of help. Bay Pines, you mean? Like the VA? The VFW is a bar. So the VA, yeah. Well, we could probably work that, all right? So can you just hang tight and be cool for right now? Just relax. Telly! It's a snitch! Oh, no!
Uno, stay with God, Telly! Ha 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 ha! It's a snitch! What, 54! Yes! Take over! Sheriff! Amen! The devil of the Knights of Nazareth! Amen!
One eternity later.
Yeah, Sheriff got Telly! You, Sheriff got Telly! You, Sheriff, you're right, left, right, you're right, left, you're right, left to the right, you're right, left! Take over! Before!
What we're going to do in this case is we're actually going to transport him ourselves because of how off the charts he is and usually fights and gets combative and everything. We're going to bring him directly there since he's already in custody in a safe, secure place in our cruiser, and then they have the resources to be able to help get him out of the car and bring him in. Nobody gets hurt, and it's a pretty smooth process. So that's what we're going to do from here on out, and this pretty much just wraps it up. So it gives you a little bit of an idea of mental health and or drug issues, because I actually forgot earlier when I was saying one of the things this guy does smoke a lot of spice, and when these people are smoking that stuff, I mean, I don't know if it's bad batches they're getting or just cheap stuff, but it's this kind of behavior. I mean, they just lose it. I mean, you heard it. Obviously, you can't really see anything. It was so dark in there, but you could just hear what was going on, and I mean, it's just, it's crazy. All right, guys, so here's something I want to talk about. No surprise, we get lied to all the time. People lie to us about what they did, what they didn't do. They lie to us about their names, give us fake names, things like that. The longer you do it, the better you get at recognizing those lies, inconsistencies in the stories. I've been doing this for a while. I'm pretty good at it, but every once in a while someone gets one past me, and you can't really get too upset about it, because especially when it comes to names, because that's what I'm going to talk about specifically. I'm getting ready to type this report here. Part of it has to do with a guy that gave me a fake name. Now, normally if they come up with any general name, their brother's name, a friend's name, something like that, sometimes they don't know the birthday. They give a different name, but they give like their birthday, and if they do it smoothly, you don't know. There's really not a way to know until you start checking. And then when you find out that all of a sudden this person doesn't have a driver's license on file or an ID card, there's certain things that start to get a little more fishy, because most people, especially when they're in their 20s, 30s, 40s, at some point in their life, they have had an ID card issued to them or a driver's license. And once that's been issued once, it stays on file forever. We can look it up, any state, right? Last night, I get a call to help the Coast Guard. They had stopped a boat that's suspected of BUI, which is boating under the influence. And so I went down to meet them to assist them with their investigation. One of the guys on the boat, who was not the driver but a passenger, was getting kind of lippy with them and refused to give them his information. So I got there, took control of the scene. He was a lot more cooperative with me and everything, and I walked him out of that area and dealt with everything. And so I asked him for his name because the Coast Guard people wanted it still. At that particular time, I didn't really need it for much. So I asked him his name, and he rattles off first, middle, and last, birthday, no problems. Lloyd T. Christmas, birthday, da-da-da-da. Don't think a thing of it. We move on with the investigation. His friend ultimately gets arrested for BUI. So later at the end of it, I get with the Coast Guard guy to give him this person's information. And I tell him the name. And I start reading it off, and I get the... And the guy who is younger than me, the Coast Guard guy is younger than me. And so this is why I'm mad about this one, that I didn't catch this. I read him the name and he looks at me and he says, Dumb and Dumber? And I was like, and then all of a sudden it hits me. Lloyd T. Christmas, the guy from Dumb and Dumber. And I'm like, no effing way. This guy just got one. And I consider myself somewhat of a movie buff. Not crazy, and I haven't seen Dumb and Dumber in years, but I still recognize the name now that it was brought to my attention. So at this point, and the guy's still there, right? He's still waiting because he's going to take the boat for the friend afterward. I said, dude, one of two things. Either this guy's got a really cool name or he lied to me, which I'm going to be pissed. So long story short, I go back over, I talk to the guy, and he's being super cool at this point. And so I just flat out ask him, I said, that name you gave me, I said, is that a real name? And he just drops his head and starts laughing. He's like, no, man. He's like, I'm sorry. He's like, those guys pissed me off. He was like, and you were still near them when you asked me. He's like, normally I wouldn't lie to you. He got one over on me. Lloyd T. Christmas. Can't believe I fell for that. I was so embarrassed by that I wasn't even mad at him anymore. So he was very forthcoming after that. I did get all his information, and now I get to type it into a report. But so there's one for the storybooks that I got duped with a Dumb and Dumber reference. So